Hello?
I know a place on the edge of the red light.
You don't need to start the run just now, by the way.
My hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother.
We can do a little introduction, and then we'll start the run.
Not yet.
Huh?
Don't start yet, right?
No,
right?
no, don't start yet. This is just so we're like live on the stream now, so we can say hi to everyone.
Hello everyone. I'm ComputerRage. I'll be playing GTU2022 missions. That's good.
Yeah. You can start whenever. Just do you want me to give you a countdown?
Okay, you can start counting down.
Okay, sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck.
Thank you.
I know a place on the edge of the red light district where we can lay low, but my hands are all messed up, so you better drive, brother.
Alright, so I'm not too familiar with GTA 3 all missions, but I've played a fair amount of any percent, and a lot of the mechanics are the same. So while ComputerRage sort of focuses on playing, because this is quite a difficult category, I'll do my best to sort of keep the dialogue going. But of course, if you have any questions in the chat room, I'll do my best to answer them with my somewhat limited knowledge. The first trick you see here is ComputerRage is pausing the game when he goes into certain markers, and it's exactly the same as how it worked in LCS when Redloff was talking about it in the previous run. Basically, when you pause the game and unpause it, your acceleration is set to 0 for a brief time. So because your acceleration is 0, the game thinks that you're not moving, so you can trigger markers instead. The game's kind of loud. I've turned it down a bit. Should be a bit better, hopefully. How does mega jumping work? I'm not even gonna get into that. And yeah, the bot takes a little while until a new game is recognized, so just give it some time. I didn't fix anything. And the command also has a cooldown, so just keep that in mind. I don't really know how exactly Mega Jump works. I know that it's just blending two animations together, and it just gives you a really high like velocity. But we'll get more into that later on. In the meantime, ComputerRage made a replay over a rampage during the first mission. And a lot of the tricks that you'll see in GTA 3 all missions are basically using rampage timers. So rampages are on a fixed 2-minute timer, and when you activate the rampage, you are on mission 1. If you've watched any of the previous GTU runs, you'll hopefully be familiar with on mission states, but if you're not, the idea is just that there is 2 states. On mission 1, which is, being on a mission, and on mission 0, which is not being on a mission, otherwise known as like free roam mode. And the reason you make a replay over rampages in GTA 3 is so you can remotely pick them up and use them to start other things at the same time. For example, you can start a submission and a rampage at the same time, and that will be used a bit later on, but we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. ComputerRage needs a cop car. It's very important. It's a very quick car, and it also gives you a shotgun, which is very useful. Thankfully, he got one on the street, because these fixed spawns at the police station are 60% locked and 70% locked. For some reason, they have different values. So it is quite likely that they won't be locked, as you saw there. But he also used the Vigilante side mission in order to start Vigilante and then pick up the Rampage inside of the replay at the same time. And that has given him what's called an On Mission Zero Rampage. And as I explained before, the idea of the On Mission Zero Rampage is just using the 2-minute timer in order to manipulate the On Mission flag. So now ComputerRage is on Drive Misty for me, and he is also on a Rampage at the same time, which usually shouldn't be possible. But because of the replay that he made all the way back on the first mission, that allows this glitch to work. And this is all going to be done because if you start Myclipse's Last Lunch, which is the next mission, for Joey, while Vigilante is running, then you will insta-pass Myclipse's Last Lunch. But because there's still a bit of time on the Rampage timer before we need to start that mission, ComputerRage is going to come here and he's going to make a replay over what is actually the same Rampage, but just in a different location. So Rampages in GTA 3 have a unique thing where they actually have 2 different locations that they can spawn. They will always spawn in their first location to start with on any playthrough, but then if you fail the Rampage, it will actually switch to a second location, and then it will switch back to the first location, and so on and so forth. So he made a replay over the second M16 location, and then finished the mission, which put him on mission 0, then started Vigilante. The Rampage runs out, which then puts him on mission 0 Vigilante, and then he starts Myclipse's Last Lunch, which instantly completes Myclipse, which is really good because that mission is long and boring. So that is what is called an insta-pass. You'll see quite a few of them in this run. Mr. Streamer, how does he get into cars so quickly? He gets into cars so quickly. I don't know exactly how this works, but essentially it seems to be just playing a replay at the right time. It sort of skips the animation and lets you kind of like phase into the car. It's a fairly recent discovery. I don't know exactly the technicalities for it. Yeah, he also managed to start the Rampage again while setting up Myclipse's Last Lunch. We'll let him use the M16 on this mission. I'll patch with him. This is a very easy mission, but because of how early it's unlocked and how dangerous it can be at the start, it can be kind of brutal if you take this mission on too early. The idea is you just have to kill these guys, these Diablos. But one of them actually has a shotgun, which can really mess you up if you're not careful. But the M16 is the most broken weapon, and one of the most broken weapons in the entire franchise, so... And here what ComputerRage is doing is he is glitching a, I forget what this thing's called, Diablo Stallion, or whatever it's called. I forget the name of the car. And that's because later on, he's actually going to need several different gang cars for a mission called Gang Car Roundup. So what you need to do is you basically just need to collect cars and take them to a certain place. So instead of driving all the way to Portland later on, and picking it up and driving it back, then it makes far more sense to glitch one if you see one. The way you glitch cars in this game is you actually can't shoot them like you can in Vice City. What you have to do instead is you block the driver's side door, and then because you want to glitch the passenger side, because if you glitch the driver's side, then you actually can't exit the vehicle once you get in. You get stuck. So you glitch the driver's side. You block the driver's side door. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. You block the driver's side door by like parking a car next to it or blocking it with a wall or something. It doesn't really matter. But the car is the easiest thing because you can just drive up alongside it. And then you enter the car via the passenger side, and then Claude will automatically get out. And because you've sort of hijacked them, then the passenger will get out. And if you play a replay during that animation of them exiting the vehicle, then it actually glitches the car into memory. This game is very old. It's from 2001, 2002 era, so it can only give so much memory towards vehicle spawns. So there is a side effect where if you glitch too many cars, you actually get far less traffic on the street. But it's not nearly as much of a strategy in GTA 3. In fact, it's not really a strategy at all, because you need to glitch a lot more cars in this game in order to actually get that benefit. My voice is so quiet, I'm literally like moving closer to my microphone. Like, I don't know why it's becoming quiet. I guess I can put it here and it might be better. Yeah, there's like a million different things to explain. Another thing that's worth explaining is that with the M16 rampage that he had all the way from before, then he actually duped Fuzzball, which is the final Luigi mission, and that allows you to, whenever you pick up one of the girls, it actually counts as 2. So you can complete that mission a lot faster.
There's no need to feel down.
ComputerRage, can we pause the run just for a second, just so you can turn the game down a couple of notches in game?
Okay, wait a second.
Thanks.
Okay, I lower it down.
Yeah, just turn it down a couple of notches in game.
No, I just did it in Windows.
Oh, did it in Windows? Okay. It should hopefully be better now. Better? Okay. I'll put my mic back where it was then, so I don't blow your guys' ears off by mistake. Okay, we should be back to normal. Yeah, Yeah, those missions that that ComputerRage was doing just a second ago, the sort of payphone missions, they're like super secret missions. They don't even have a an icon of any kind. The only reason you know they're there is because the phone is ringing. That's literally it. There's no other like indication that they even exist in the game. But they're not particularly interesting missions. They're just basically doing the same thing like 4 times in a row. And these missions are basically just sort of 2-minute auto-scrollers, basically. The idea is that you have to destroy a certain gang car. In this case, it's the Diablo Stallions again. And you don't actually have a target to hit. All you've got to do is blow up at least one. And then the next time you do it, you beat your score. But obviously, for the mission to be counted as pass, you only need to do it once. So you literally just blow up one car, and then you can just AFK for 2 minutes. In the meantime, I can read a quick donation. We have $5 from Dan's that says, "For the kids," smiley face. Thank you, Dan's. It's very kind of you. If you're new to the stream, we are raising money for Save the Children as part of their Gaming Tuesday campaign. Gaming Tuesday is a subsidiary of Giving Tuesday, which happens every December with Save the Children. So we're raising money for kids in need all around the world. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's supported so far. We are still streaming for the rest of the week. We'll be here at 6 p.m. UTC every single day, and we'll even be going much earlier on the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday we'll be starting around 10 a.m. UTC, and we'll be streaming for like 14 hours on both days. A little optimization ComputerRage did there was he deliberately blew himself up with like a second or so left, because then you you shorten the fade of the mission ending by putting the fade of you respawning on top of it. It's a little optimization you can do at the end. And then what would any GTA be without a car race, right? How many races are there in GTA 3? I guess it depends on what you count as a race, right? Because I wouldn't really class Bling Bling Scramble as a race, but it kind of is. It's like a race to collect the majority of checkpoints, but it's not really a conventional race. You race a police boat on a detour? Yeah, that's the thing, like, if you use kind of like broad strokes like that, then anything is a race, right? So here, ComputerRage is doing something that looks a little silly, which is taking a detour to grab the fire truck during the race. Obviously, the race itself is fine, you're not in any danger of failing it, and the fire truck is going to be used for some duping shenanigans very soon. So now ComputerRage starts the fire truck mission alongside the Rockets Rampage. And the Rockets Rampage is a vehicle destruction rampage. So you just have to literally destroy vehicles. That's it. That's all you have to do for the rampage. And it just so happens that the fire truck, when you start and stop the fire truck mission, it actually destroys a vehicle. So you can just spam firefighter in order to pass that rampage really easily. And then he starts Cipriani's chauffeur, or Cipriani's chauffeur. Everyone's going to yell at me for saying Cipriani. He starts Cipriani's chauffeur, and then he does some weird replay magic that I never bothered to explain because it's a really stupid thing. But basically some weird glitch happens and it allows him to pass the rampage, which puts him on mission 0. And then he heads over here and starts I Scream, You Scream. And then there's like oh god, how do I even explain this in like a small amount of time? Basically, these mission chains are like back to back, and you can use one to like insta-pass the next one. So I might be wrong on this because I don't run this category, but you start I Scream, You Scream, and you insta-pass that with Cipriani's chauffeur, I think, and then I also think, again, citation needed, that you have like a spare I Scream, You Scream instance left over, I guess, and you use that to then insta-pass the next mission after that. I don't know. It's complicated. But now we're on Big and Veiny. This mission can crash your game, which is very annoying. You see it a lot in 100% runs, I think. And yeah, you're intended to drive all the way around the map and pick up these like a magazine trail to get to your target, and it also like extends the timer. But you can just go up on the hill if you already know where he is and mega jump all the way down, which is much faster. Skips doing basically the whole mission.
Get you.
Baby! Damn retard. Dipshit piece of trash. I'm done.
We also have another $5 donation from Halo saying, I have nothing interesting to say. Admire the cause. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Halo. It's very kind of you. And that's an example of a mega jump that you see right there. There's two different forms of mega jump. One is an attack mega jump, and one of them is a sort of like a double jump mega jump. They both work the same way. They're just two different ways of doing them, basically. So the double mega jump one that you saw ComputerRage do at the start of the Thieves is you jump, then as soon as you land, you jump again, and then you play a replay at a specific timing, and it launches you forward. Now, if you just do this on a blank stretch of road, you would die because you hit the floor with such velocity it kills you, because physics. So there are two ways that you can survive mega jumps, two main ways. One of them is to fling yourself off a slope of some kind, so that when you're in the air you can slow down enough and you bring your velocity back down to normal before you hit the ground. The other way is what ComputerRage did there, where you use a surface of some kind to stop your fall. So if you mega jump into a wall, you'll hit the wall, which doesn't damage you for some reason. I guess because you don't hit the ground, I don't know. But yeah, you hit the wall and then it slows you down before you hit the ground, and you can survive it that way as well. So this is an example of using the two locations again. This is the same M16 Rampage location that you saw at the start, and it's because the alternate Rampage location was failed, so now it's back in the original spot, so you can make a replay of it here.
This is not what's supposed to happen.
And yeah, sadly, when you mega jump, you also obviously play a replay, and depending on the circumstances, you can accidentally pick up a rampage as well. Yeah, probably the best thing to do is just go and make the alternate replay and wait it out. And there you can see an example of what happens if you don't break your fall when you mega jump. It's also a very convenient way to easily kill yourself if you want to.
Hey, papi.
Why I'm on mission 1?
You're on the rampage, you picked it up when you died.
Yeah, and I died. Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hey, papi.
There we go, back on track now.
Timing.
Just make sure your time of day is okay. Yeah, time of day is very important in GTA 3. A lot of the missions can only be accessed at certain times, especially in Portland in the early game. Death warping actually sets you forward 12 hours, so it can be used, that with mega jumps, which basically allow you to kill yourself at any time. It's like a portable death warp. Can be used to manipulate time of day quite easily. A nice example of death warping again here, because you need to sink this car once you've killed the guy's wife. And you also need to be back on the mainland as quickly as possible. So in this category, the fastest way to end the mission is to just literally just throw yourself into the ocean, and the mission passes just before you die.
My goodness.
You can fail me, I haven't seen.
Damn it, I won't be able to finish now in time.
I mean, that's fine, there's nobody else coming after you. What happened?
I go to pick up and I should do this first. Cipriani Chaferur.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't have Tony's missions.
Those washerwomen ain't been paying their protection money. And watch the car, Joey just fixed this junk heap. So no fancy crap, okay?
Yeah, the M16 should be back in the alternate location, Custer.
Wait here. Keep the engine running. This ain't a social call.
I'm about to hit ass so fast. I'm starving here. You're so bad. Hey, my automatic.
Get us out of here, kids!
We have another $5 donation from Halo again, saying 5 more just to say ComputerRage is super underrated and a great GTA 3 runner. Good luck, fellow. And yeah, decent cause. No problem dropping a few quid for this. Good luck all around. Hope you reach the target you bet. Thank you, sir. Very kind of you.
Thank you, Halo.
Give them something to launder. Their own blood-stained clothes.
We are inching ever closer to $800, which is crazy. And we still have the whole rest of the week to go. Thank you to everyone who supported this far. Very kind of you.
Take a goddamn seat. So the laundry won't pay any protection, huh?
So coming up here is the first dupe and fail of the run. So in GTA 3, dupe and fails are used quite a lot. And basically how it works is when you pass or fail a mission, there's something called mission cleanup that runs. It's basically like in the game's code, and it basically tells the mission to be like, you know, the mission is finished, so clean up all the assets to do with the missions. So if there's any like pedestrians or like you know, NPCs or any cars that are laying around, then it says, you know, like get rid of them, despawn them, destroy them. So when you dupe a mission in this game, certain missions will be passed or failed based on criteria that involves destroying objects, right? One of them is taking out the laundry. The way you pass the mission is by destroying 3 vans. So when you dupe the mission and then you die or get busted in some way, then you fail one instance of the mission because you've just died, right? So mission failed. And then the mission runs the cleanup script and says, okay, we'll despawn everything to do with this mission, clean it all up. So then it destroys the 3 vans in the second instance of the mission because it's cleaning them up, right? It makes sense. But then the game goes, wait a second, those 3 vans have been destroyed. So that means that the second instance will pass. and then there you go. You can instantly complete the mission that way. It only works with certain missions, but yeah, that's the long and short of it. Basically, you do a mission, and then you die or get busted, and one instance fails, and it causes the other one to pass. It's a very cool little trick.
Oh, very house, sexy lady.
Real good red swords, like what?
I don't know where he is.
Are there any missions you can do that on that aren't used in a speedrun? Yes, there's many of them. You can do it in any percent for evidence dash, for example. So that rampage there is the alternate shotgun rampage. The original location was in the alleyway, which ComputerRage used for the original taking out the laundry dupe and fail. Or was it taking out the laundry? I don't remember, but yeah. It was the one in the alleyway near Joey's place. And all of this setup is for the next Instapass of the run, or Instapasses. So Salvatore's Called a Meeting has a number of like special properties. Basically what you need to know is that you can Instapass this mission very easily, but there's a slight problem. And that's, if you instapass it on the first attempt of the mission, the game will always crash, because the models for the NPCs aren't loaded, and it will crash the game. So you need to start the mission at some point before you can then try it again and instapass it. You can also use Salvatore's Called a Meeting to pass certain missions. In this case, Patriot Playground. So if you get to this certain checkpoint in Salvatore's Called a Mission, and then go and start Patriot Playground, you will instantly pass Patriot Playground. So that is already worth it within itself, but then also you can go back and instapass Salvatore's Called a Meeting, because you've already started the mission once for the Patriot Playground instapass, so then you can actually instapass the mission without crashing the game. Yeah, Salvatore's Called a Meeting. I might have said mission, I don't know, but yeah. It's a lot of words to get out in a very short time. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to do Her Lover, which is the, I believe the final, what's this guy's name? Marty Chunks or something? I don't remember. Yeah, this is the final mission of his, and thank God, because these missions are very low quality. Yeah, Marty Chunks, that was right.
Carl, hi.
And now we see Marty Chunks finally get his
Step into my office. It's far too late for
his
that,
comeuppance,
You have
because
your
he gets killed.
But now I'm taking over.
After all the work we've done for him, he gets shotgunned. gives ComputerRage just enough time to start the next mission, which is going to be Taxi Driver. So it works out very nicely. So he starts Taxi Driver here, and the rampage is going to end, which puts him on mission 0. So then he has on mission 0 Taxi Driver, and if you start Salvatore's Call to Meeting the second time while on Taxi Driver, then you insta-pass Salvatore's Call to Meeting, and you can go straight on to Chaperone. There's always bigger fish, indeed.
Come on, Fido, let's go and check out these vlogs.
So if you remember when I was talking about different buttons to skip cutscenes based on the PS2 control scheme during Vice City 100% on the first day, that also applies to GTA 3. So, for example, in that cutscene where you're speaking to Maria's dealer Chico, or whatever his name is, you actually need to press W to skip that cutscene because you're inside of a vehicle.
You wait here.
Usually, you would use, your sprint key or enter or something to skip the cutscene. But whenever you're inside of a vehicle, you need to press your accelerate key because that is what is tied to the X button on PS2. Because these games were all designed with PS2 in mind originally and then ported to PC. So there's still some little quirks that are based around the PS2 port that still exist. I think someone asked me earlier, what is my favorite car in GTA 3? I think they asked. It's a pretty good question. I don't know. I like the Blister a lot in GTA 3. It's quite nice to drive. Usually, my favorite car in VC is the Cheetah. It's like the best all-rounder car in my opinion, but it's kind of shit in GTA 3. It bounces way too much.
You know, you treated me really good with respect to me.
Yeah, the cop car is also really good. So that final cutscene there at the end of Chaperone, you can actually skip that cutscene much more quickly. But if you do, then you get stuck in like a fixed animation of Claude like walking away from Sal's mansion. So it's actually quicker to wait until the dialogue starts and then skip the cutscene, because then you gain immediate control of Claude, and you actually gain more time back than you lose by waiting on the cutscene. So this mission, ComputerRage gets in a taxi. Taxi is very important for reasons I'll go into in a second even. But also he's going to go to the top of the train tracks and make a replay of another rampage here. This is the Grenades rampage. And that's going to be used later on, and then he's going to pull up to Luigi's club and collect Curly Bob in his own taxi. So there's sort of like a fun little Easter egg in this game, where usually you would wait for Curly Bob to get into a taxi, the one in front of you that you can see on the screen, and then you would have to sort of follow them all the way down to the docks. But if you pull up Curly Bob will actually just get into the nearest taxi, which can be yours if you're parked in the right place and you're ready. And then you can actually drive into the harbour yourself. And you can see it's intentional because when he gets in the taxi, there's actually a bit of text that tells you to take him to the Portland harbour. So it's not a glitch, it's fully intended.
Here comes
Just a secret way to complete the mission. Thank you, GTA 3, very cool. Also, Momo, you can't say Banshee for the best GTA 3 car. That's such a cop-out answer. It's like saying Infernus in VC. Like, come on. You... It's also worth mentioning, while he's doing the last of Joey's missions, you can actually lock yourself out of completing all the missions in this game. So there are certain people, like Joey, like Luigi, like Azuka, like Kenji, later on in the game, where once you get to a certain point in the main story, it's actually possible to not be able to take missions from them anymore. So if you haven't already completed all of their missions, for example, all of Kenji's missions, there is then a story mission where you kill Kenji, and obviously you can't complete Kenji's missions anymore if he's dead. So you actually, if you're playing casually, it's very likely that you'll never complete all of the missions this game has to offer. Because one, some of them are very difficult to find, like the Marty Chunks missions, which aren't labeled anywhere. And two, yeah, it's actually just very difficult to even complete them, because if you don't complete them in the right order, you'll get locked out of them. Which is a very poor design choice in my opinion, but you know, this is 20 years ago. Can cut them a bit of slack.
Very important, don't play replay when rain is active.
Yeah, so ComputerRage was using replays there. Replays, just in general, have a lot of uses. One of them, for example, is it keeps resetting the current second that you're on, so you can keep the game clock essentially frozen. But as ComputerRage said, it's very important that you don't do that once the crusher goes to grab, or the crane goes to grab the car, because it will actually stop the crane from grabbing the car, so you essentially soft lock the mission. So that rampage that ComputerRage picked up on the train tracks is another destroy vehicles rampage, so you can very easily abuse it with Firefighter, as you saw. And then he made a rampage between the replay between the garages, which is the AK-47 rampage. So this is another very easy dupe and fail. All that you do is you just start triads and tribulations. You either complete the rampage, for example, by blowing up the fire truck, or you let it expire, and then start triads and tribulations again, and then you death warp, and the game fails one instance, and then it cleans up the guys that you have to kill, and because obviously, you know, they've been killed, destroyed by the game's script, then the second instance passes. So just there, ComputerRage was grinding the back of the ambulance against a wall. It's very easy if you just hold S against a wall that you can smack the back doors off. So when you pick up these guys, they can enter much more easily. I believe you also need to not have a wanted star here, which is why he's waiting, I think, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't have a wanted level for any of the sort of checkpoints where you go back and forth from the garage.
bank raise progress back a Liberty Point account.
I'm sorry for that replay spam.
Yeah, it can be a little rough on the eyes, but it's all for the sake of speed. So now he starts to get away again, and he picks up the guys. And I believe this is for blowfish, right? If I remember correctly.
Blowfish and stuff.
Yeah. So he's currently on the getaway, and if you start blowfish while on the getaway, then you actually insta-pass blowfish. But first he needs to actually complete the getaway itself, because, you know, he needs to complete all of the missions. So he restarts the getaway, and then finishes the first instance of the mission, and then he's also perfectly in place to pick up the second group for the second instance. So then he can insta-pass blowfish. So now he's picked up the guys, I believe he can just go in straight start blowfish, and he'll insta-pass it. You can also insta-pass blowfish with Taxi Driver, like Salvatore's called a meeting. But in GTA 3, if you use a submission to instantly pass something, like what we did with Salvatore's called a meeting, then the submission is actually dead and unusable. So you can only basically use it once. So even though Taxi Driver would probably be faster in terms of setting up, you've already used Taxi Driver to insta-pass Salvatore's called a meeting, so you can't also use it for blowfish. You have to pick one or the other. And obviously Salvatore's called a meeting makes a lot more sense because it's much faster.
Need more mozzarella. Joe. I hate it. Make it louder. Forget about it. Hey, paisan. Joe. Hey, paisan.
So this is another just sit and twiddle your thumbs segment. In the meantime, everyone in the chat room, there is a discussion going on currently about what is the best car in GTA 3. Be sure to put your thoughts down. What's your favorite car and why? So everyone can tell you that your opinion is wrong.
I'm great. Did you know that? You want to know how much? Hey, see money?
We're going to Aruba.
Does the dodo count? If you say the dodo, you're just like a poser, you know? You're like, oh, I pick like the worst vehicle in the game because I'm so edgy. Diablo Stallion because flames? Yeah, that's not a bad choice.
We should take these Colombian bastards.
A grey Esperanto? Why a grey one specifically? So you see ComputerRage using some more replays to manipulate the in-game clock here. I'll go more into specifically why the time of day matters so much towards the end of Portland once we get further towards the end. Should be fairly soon.
When you fire the first shot.
But we've got a couple of missions to go before that. In the meantime, this mission usually requires you to go and get a vantage point by going up the stairs onto one of the balconies, but you can actually shoot them from basically anywhere as long as you can see them. There is one guy that is basically like a head that's poking out. It's like 1 pixel high. It's a very difficult shot to hit when you do this lineup, but it's certainly doable with a bit of practice. And then if you're mega zoomy here, you can actually make a replay shotgun rampage inside of the alleyway before you finish the mission, which saves you having to make it afterwards because you're just waiting. And no matter what you do during the wait, the mission will always teleport you back to where you finished the mission. So it's very efficient to make that replay there. Is ComputerRage doing the current world record route? I assume so.
Not exactly a war route. I did some safe strats.
So one final rampage replay abuse to go into last request. That's going to be used for a dupe very soon, a dupe and fail. But so if you kept an eye on the in-game clock during Portland, it's very important to finish with a certain time on the in-game clock. And the reason for that is because the next mission, which is Sayonara Salvatore, the way the mission works is as soon as you start the mission, it rounds the time up to the nearest hour, then it adds 2.5 minutes onto the clock, and whatever that time is when you can complete the mission, because it's when Salvatore leaves the club and you can kill him, which is your objective. So, let's say for example that it's midnight, right? And if ComputerRage would start Sayonara Salvatore just after midnight, so like let's say 5 minutes past midnight, then the game would round up all the way until 1 AM and then add 2.5 minutes on, and he would have to wait until 3:30 AM before he can complete the next mission. If he finished at 5 minutes to midnight and started Sayonara Salvatore, it would just round up to the next hour, which is midnight, then add 2.5 minutes on, and he can complete the mission a minute earlier, basically. So as you saw, he deliberately completed last request just before it got to the hour mark, so then he can complete Sayonara Salvatore at 23:30 instead of 30 past midnight, which is what would have happened if he started the mission too late. So yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's basically a minute lost if you start at the wrong time. So very important to keep an eye on that. The Kenji snipe in this route? Stay tuned. No spoilers. Yeah, ComputerRage picked up the M16 second location here at a very specific time. because he's going to use it to dupe and fail under surveillance. And he needs to be at under surveillance at a very specific time on the clock. So he basically lines up the 2-minute timer of the rampage with that specific time on the clock to make sure that he will finish the rampage just as he's ready to dupe and fail. And he's going to make another replay over the original M16 location, location 1, and then still have plenty of time because it's still another 30 seconds before Salvatore comes out at 30 minutes past. He's shooting the ground here to actually lure triads and other NPCs that might be aggressive away, because otherwise they can mess you up here a little bit. Then you shoot all those guys down with the Uzi and then just run Salvatore over. It's also worth mentioning that he went into the ammunition while on a rampage. You can actually pick up guns while on a rampage from the ammunition. You can buy them, and all that it does is it replaces your rampage weapon. And the Uzi is super useful because it allows you to sprint in this section.
Salvatore's death comes as pleasurable news.
So he starts under surveillance, and as you can see, it's all pretty much perfectly timed. So the rampage is just about to run out. So under surveillance is another mission that you can complete by just destroying targets. So he starts the mission twice, and then mega jumps to death warp, and mission passed just like that. And now time for the best mission in the game. Bling Bling Scramble. So the way this mission works is there are a set amount of checkpoints. I forget the exact number. I want to say 15 checkpoints on the map. And you're racing against a bunch of other races in order to collect the checkpoints. Now the way you win is just by having the most checkpoints at the end. So essentially the way it comes down to the way the mission ends up is you collect basically as many checkpoints as you can to make sure that you win, but you don't try and collect all of them because there's no need to, and then you basically go to the next mission while the mission is completing. As you can imagine, you have to make the AI collect the other checkpoints, which can be very annoying. Yeah, as Caster is mentioning in the chat, there are 2 patterns on the PC version. It's random which one you get for the way the checkpoints can spawn. You actually can get a 3rd one, but it's not possible on PC. It's only on PS2 for some reason. Well, maybe not only on PS2, but it's not on PC. That's the important part. And yeah, this is actually the good pattern out of the 2. It's a little bit faster. But you still have to rely on the AI to play well, which is not always the easiest thing. Can you get 3rd pattern on Xbox? I have no idea. So another trick that ComputerRage did there was he was making sure that he finishes the M16 rampage inside of a replay. So once a rampage expires, if you're inside of a replay, you actually get to keep the ammo. Something that some of you may not know is that you don't actually have infinite ammo during rampages. You actually just get given 30,000 of whatever ammo, you know, the gun has. So, for example, for a rockets rampage, you get 30,000 rockets. You might have seen him get 30,000 rockets earlier if you were paying enough attention, but it was sort of like a blink and you miss it kind of thing. But yeah, so now he has 30,000 M16, which basically makes him like an unkillable death machine for the next short while. this cheetah guy as being very epic, as Bling Bling Scramble AI usually is. And he's going to grab a cop car here for a bit later on. Thankfully, I believe, I might need to be corrected on this, I believe that the cop car inside the Staunton police station is always unlocked, right? It's not random whether it's locked or not, which is quite nice. Always unlocked, yeah, I thought so. So now you'll see ComputerRage is going to use the exact same thing to get 30,000 rockets, and conveniently enough, the next mission is very easy to complete with rockets. You just shoot 2 rockets at the boat and you can just blow it up instantly. You don't even have to trigger him to run away or anything, you can just instantly kill him just like that. And then straight on to one of Watch Mojo's top 10 hardest GTA missions of all time, Payday for Ray. This mission is extremely difficult if you have no arms or are blind. But even if you're blind, it's still not particularly difficult. Trust me. This mission is way overhyped in terms of its difficulty, in my opinion. I don't know if they ever did an update video caster. I don't watch their videos. No clue. Yeah. All you have to do in this mission is just answer a couple of phone calls from different points in the map. And the time limit is somewhat strict, but not really enough for it to be considered like a very difficult mission. If you drive well, you can have like well over a minute to spare here, pretty much every time. The only thing that I remember people getting stuck on this mission, which made sense, was if you drive towards this phone here that's on top, there's actually a road underneath, and the game doesn't really properly communicate whether it's on top or the bottom. So you go for the bottom and you're trying to look for the phone, not realizing that it's actually above you, and then failing the mission. That's understandable, but then once you've realized that mistake the first time, then you should beat the mission the second time every time, right? So their ComputerRage makes a new replay over a bribe star. So bribes are used in this game to take one off of your wanted level. So, for example, if you have a 4-star wanted level, you collect a cop bribe and it moves it down to 3 stars. But if you pick it up inside of a replay, it actually still persists. It doesn't have to wait to respawn. So if you have a 4-star wanted level, you can just play a replay 4 times of a bribe star, and you lose your entire 4-star wanted level. Which is going to be very useful for later on, because a couple of missions give you quite high wanted levels. Yeah, it is also possible to softlock on this mission as well. Yeah, on a Payday for Ray. You can get stuck in the cutscene and not able to answer any more phones. And here you can also see just how good 30,000 rockets is. You're intended to throw a grenade into that window, which can be quite a tricky throw, but instead you just run one rocket at the window and one at McCaffrey's car, and boom, he's done. And then he's going to go to 8 Ball's bomb shop and rig this car with a bomb. This is going to be used for, what's the name of the mission? Kanbu Bust Out?
Correct. No, not sure. Well, yes, but also for this one.
Also for this one, yeah.
I mean,
I was
no.
trying to just remember the name of the mission.
I won't say anything. The bomb from 8 Ball will be used for Kanbu Boost Up. Yes.
Yeah, Kanbu Bust Out.
I was thinking about rocket. Kaboom.
Yeah, rockets will also be used here for Two-Faced Tanner. Tanner from high school is going to get a swift RPG to the face. You basically just spawn him in and he tries to drive away and you can just nuke him with rockets instantly. It's a very easy mission. This game is a reference to something, but I forget exactly what it is. I want to say like a true crime reference or something, but I don't remember. Someone might correct me on that. But yeah, first Kenji mission. These are optional missions, just like the last one was. Oh yeah, it's the driver. That's the one. Yeah, I knew it was a reference to something. I just couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, so this mission you have to break out one of Kenji's boys who's stuck in prison. So that's what the car bomb is for. You need to get a cop car, park it up next to the wall, blow it up, and blow the guy out. And here you have to get rid of the cops. So usually you would have to pay and spray, but obviously it's complicated because you have nothing but cop vehicles at your disposal besides the Sentinel in the car park. And you need to pay and spray, and you can't pay and spray cop cars. But thankfully, you just play the bribery play 3 times, and your wanted level is gone. You just pass the mission, just like that. Nice and easy. Why does it not work in VC? I actually have no idea why it doesn't work in VC. No clue. Yeah, this mission is very straightforward. It's literally just as simple as taking several cars and committing Grand Theft Auto. Stealing them. Because it was fixed. But like, it must have been like accidentally fixed, right? Because if they fixed that, then that means that they knew about being able to pick stuff up in replays, but they didn't fix like rampages or anything like that for VC. So yeah, like it can't be an intentional fix. I refuse to believe that. Yeah, this garage is a big meme, because it's actually not very deep at all. So if you just drive into this garage normally, you'll bonk the car into the back, and then they're no good damaged. So you need to then drive to the pay and spray. Luckily the pay and spray is right next door, but it's pretty silly how they made this garage. I don't know why it's so small. just making a little pit stop here, making a replay of another rampage. I'm not sure what rampage that is exactly. I don't remember Staunton locations too well. But most of the time, what type of rampage it is doesn't really matter. It's more about the on mission flag manipulation. Grenades. So, once the Infernus is delivered, that's mission passed. Very trivial mission, just a bit long because of how far you have to go all around the map. So a very epic mission here, one of the off-road ones. A ride in the park. You have to collect 12 checkpoints with the Landstalker. And off-road missions with the Landstalker, not very good. What's the best GTA 3 island though? My favorite is Staunton. Portland gives everyone PTSD, and Shoreside is fucking awful to navigate.
Damn.
Hey, dog.
But Ben, this is an off-road car? You wouldn't tell. Because this car controls like absolute shit. Like, ComputerRage makes it look very easy, but if you try and just drive over these hills, you will just flip constantly and blow yourself up. It's really not great. Hey, do you remember during Vice City 100% when I mentioned about how the fact that in VC, Phil's arm is actually the wrong one, is missing. We can actually see it here with Phil if you pay very close attention to this very obvious detail that they missed. When you speak to Phil, I think it's his right arm is missing in GTA 3, but then in VC he blows off his left arm.
Hey,
Or the other way around. I don't remember.
Maybe I'd still have my arm. If you need any firepower, just drop by and take what you need from the locker. Leave the cash under the bench. Now get out of here. I'll handle the cops.
Yeah, he blows up one arm in the cutscene, but the in-game model has the other one blown up.
Going for a little ride into Epburn Heights. Kill me some filthy Diablo boo-boo's been batting up me lady Queen Lizzie.
Oh yeah, this is the part where you hold paramedic for 4 minutes. That's very epic. Yeah, so in this game, when you activate certain things, such as submissions, it doesn't actually activate on button press, it actually activates on button release. So you can hold down the button to start something like vigilante or paramedic or firefighter and whatnot, and you can store that basically submission. So even if you're not inside of that vehicle, you can still activate it basically whenever you like. The issue is that you have to hold the button down for as long as it takes, from getting out of the, let's say the ambulance in this case, to doing whatever you want to, actually do. So in this particular case, you do, what's the name of this mission? Uzi Rider, I think, is the name of it. And you have to drive a very slow car all the way to the other side of the map, and then come all the way back, all while holding a sometimes uncomfortable button. For me personally, I used to use middle mouse button, but then I switched to caps lock because it's a lot easier to hold for these particular scenarios. But the mission itself is very easy. All you do is you just kill some Diablos and then drive back. It's a very filler mission. Then yeah, afterwards will be multi-story mayhem, and in my opinion, multi-story mayhem is the fucking dumbest thing in GTA 3. Like, we were talking about missions that were like impossible to know that they exist as a casual player earlier, but at least with Marty Chong's missions, there's a phone ringing that you can hear at certain times of the day, so if you go past it, then you obviously can hear the phones ringing and you might spot the mission. Multi-story mayhem has nothing. There's no tell that the mission exists, and the only way to trigger it is to take a specific car, drive it to a specific location, and then enter it. Like, it's so ridiculous. And I always make this claim, and I've yet to be proven wrong. I am convinced that nobody has ever fully blinded, completed 100% of GTA 3 because of this mission. I don't believe that anybody found this mission by accident. I believe in a definitive edition, when you get inside of a stallion on this island, it actually gives you a GPS to the multi-story to try and guide you to start the mission. Not the best solution, but at least it's a solution. But yeah, in regular GTA 3, there's no way you would discover this mission. It's so hidden. The only difficulty in that mission is actually finding it. As soon as you start it, it's extremely easy. So currently ComputerRage is looking for a Yardie Lobo. He's going to need it later on. This is also a really nice car with the like the leather seats and the hydraulics and everything. And now he can finally let go of paramedic. So he's able to get an On Mission 0 rampage for this next mission. I also forget the name of this mission. I want to say Deal Steal is next. Yeah, I'm a genius. Again, another pit stop because there is another rampage location here. Whoa! It's convenient just before you pick up your homie. And here you just go to the hospital. There's a deal taking place, and all you do is just kill everyone and take the briefcases that they drop. I think it's briefcases, something like that. From memory, your teammate doesn't even have to survive. Pretty sure you can just kill him as well. Pretty sure the game doesn't care. There you grab the briefcase and then just send it back, nice and easy. And something that I actually haven't mentioned, which I probably should have mentioned a long time ago, as the good ending is spoiled there because he ran over his guy at the end. ComputerRage is actually changing to the top-down camera. If you're wondering why he's spamming the camera like that, it actually despawns traffic in front of you. It sort of re-rolls the traffic, so if you do it in a sort of constant motion, you can despawn all traffic in front of you so you don't have to potentially crash into anything, which is very nice. Yeah, this setup is all done, I believe, to dupe Shima, and then you use that to insta-pass Casino Calamity from very vague memory, I think. Yeah, this looks right. Yeah, see, my memory doesn't fail me sometimes. So this is a very simple insta-pass. Just start mission A, and then start mission B, you pass mission B. And then he starts the Molotov rampage in between, just before the second instance fails. So then he can get a free On Mission 0 rampage and then restart Shima. And this replay here is for the grenades rampage again. Oh, shotgun, sorry. Is there not also a grenades one nearby, I think? Or am I misremembering that? I know a grenades one was already done, but I could have sworn that one was in the park. Maybe I'm wrong. As I say, my Staunton rampage knowledge is not super good. Oh, the all grenades location is the one in the alley? Okay. Yeah, then I'm just getting them mixed up. That's my bad. So here's the Diablo Stallion that he glitched all the way back right at the start during Pump Action Pimp. And again, as I mentioned before, he's going to use this for Gankar Roundup. There is actually a Instapass for Gankar Roundup, but the problem, and I might be again getting this wrong because this is from very vague memory from years ago, but it can't actually be used in all missions because it awards percentage, but it doesn't increment the meter for the missions passed in the stats. So the way that the GTA 3 all missions rules work is you have to complete all the missions that are basically that increment that counter. So if you insta-pass Gankar Roundup in 100%, then that's fine because you've gained percentage, so it counts. But if you do it in all missions, it won't count because you haven't incremented the meter, so you haven't technically passed the mission by the sort of regulations of the category. So yeah, that Diablo Stallion is used for that mission, and basically, as I said before, you glitch it, and then while you're in Portland completing Shima, you just drive it back to the garage. That garage there is actually where you're going to hand in all the cars at the end. So it's very efficient because it means that you don't have to go all the way back to Portland once you start the mission. And another bribery play here. So basically mission counter means nothing in 100% as long as you get 100% in the stats. It's not so much about getting 100% in the stats, it's that you have to complete everything that awards percentage. That's what you have to do. So, you could mass dupe a mission like 100 times and get 100% on the stats, but it wouldn't count for a 100% rank. Because you need to do everything that awards percentage, and you need to get the percentage for it. That's the important part. Yeah, this is gripped. And that's gripped past. Thank God there is an insta-pass for gripped, because that mission sucks. It's really fucking poorly made. Yeah, thankfully, you can insta-pass that really easy with, I forget the name of that last mission. I'm trying to rack my brains before someone spoils it for me in the chat, but I can't think of it. Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't done these missions in a long time, so their names always escape me. But yeah, ComputerRage is getting a wanted level here. This is going to be very important very soon. So he's holding on to paramedic, and he's going to start evidence dash and let go of paramedic at a specific time, and then paramedic cancels after around 2 seconds or so, and then he's going to start evidence dash again, so he's duped it. Now he's going to go into top-down camera because he wants to get busted, which is why he got the wanted level. But let me try and remember how this works. So you get busted. It's just a simple dupe and fail of evidence dash. But the reason why you go into the top-down camera is because it's something to do with looking at the Bobcat. I think if you look at it, you crash the game or something. Like, it's something really weird. But basically the top-down camera is to avoid that happening. Yeah, if you see the Bobcat, the game crashes. There you go, so I was right. But yeah, so you just need to not look at the Bobcat, and the easiest way to do that is to just use top-down camera. Now time for Smackdown, which is everyone's favorite mission. This mission is also very poorly made. You can fail it due to complete random circumstances that aren't your fault, which always makes it great for a speedrun. Basically, these guys spawn randomly around the map, and you have to kill a certain amount of them. And yeah, sometimes they can just spawn in the opposite places to where you're going, and you just get screwed, and there's nothing you can really do about it. And yeah, you get busted rather than death warping, because if you death warp, you're all the way at the hospital, which is much further away from Kenji, because the police station is like halfway down Staunton, whereas the hospital is all the way at the top. A very popular meme on this mission is if you see every time ComputerRage gets a kill, it says dealer minced ! Full stop. Because whoever wrote the GXT string for this is has the literacy skills of a 4-year-old, I guess. Good old Rockstar. I believe this mission also works quite similar to Bling Bling Scramble, where as long as you get the certain amount of yardies, you can then just sort of drive to your next destination and just wait for the rest of them to despawn, and the mission will pass regardless, which is what ComputerRage is doing now. So you can do other things while you're just waiting for the mission to finish. Yeah, 8 is the magic number. Once you've killed that many, you can just do whatever you want in the meantime. Like you can see that Yardie there is even chasing him down, and he doesn't pay any attention because there's no need to kill him. So for Liberator, you have to find a cartel cruiser. They spawn randomly in Fort Staunton. There are fixed spawn locations, but they have the potential to be locked, so they're just as random as just finding one on the street. ComputerRage got quite lucky here and got one pretty much right away. Sometimes you can be driving around for a while waiting for those, which can be very annoying. Then he's also going to do a strat here, which you've seen a couple of times, you might have noticed it, where he just plays a single replay, and it basically resets whatever the AI was doing. So in this particular part, they are unaggressive, and then they aggro onto you, but then you play a replay just as they start moving, and they sort of go back into their passive state so they don't attack you. And this guy that you're picking up can be in one of 3 garages. It's completely random, whether he's in the first, second, or third. And again, ComputerRage got quite lucky because he was in the first garage, which is the most optimal spawn. A lot of randomness in this mission, so always nice to see it go well. Now it's time for Wakakashira Wipeout, which is the mission where you, spoiler alert, kill Kenji. So this is why it's very important to do Kenji's missions as soon as possible, because you actually have to complete all of them before you do Wakakashira Wipeout, otherwise you'll lock yourself out of Kenji's missions. And here you see a very epic strat. So snipers can travel through solid surfaces in GTA 3 and other GTAs as well. So if you have the right lineup, you can actually shoot Kenji through the floor without needing to go up to the top and do the mission the intended way. back. I just went to go and refill my water because I've been talking quite a lot and I don't want to get like a sore throat or anything. But yeah, this mission there's a lot of waiting around at the start. So ComputerRage, oh my god, that was a sick stunt. Oh my goodness. Getting Tony Hawk doing a little kiss the rail off the top of the lamppost there. But yeah, so he's sure to grab a Yakuza Stinger because that is another car that's used for gang car roundup later on. Because during this mission, as long as you're in time for the final package that's dropped by the plane, which is coming down now, then you don't lose any time. As you can see, bribery plays being heavily abused here again.
Thank you for retrieving.
Yeah, fun fact. The bridge which goes between Shoreside Vale and Staunton Island actually starts on a fixed cycle from when you complete a drop in the ocean. So if you're fast enough, you can start Grand Theft Aero and get across the bridge before it goes up. But it's a little tight. But if the bridge is up and you plan to cross it regardless, you can actually do a cool little strat where you basically spam replays really fast as you go across the bridge. And for some reason, I'm not sure if it's to do with like the collision of the bridge staying longer than it should do or what. But yeah, you can essentially travel over the bridge as though it was there, even though it isn't. Somebody randomly sent me a video of them doing that on Discord and asked if it was useful and known about. So basically, if it wasn't for me, that strat wouldn't be known. So you're welcome, guys. All the credit goes to me. Is a rough landing. I'm very surprised that ComputerRage kept Dodo there, but I respect it. Landing the dodo is not an easy feat. It's very difficult to do. And once you landed the dodo, he mega jumped over, which skips having to fight all the way into the compound. And also, as we mentioned before, playing the replay to mega jump also sort of resets the AI back to the passive state, so you don't even get attacked most of the time. And those replays there were for what is called weather skip. So the weather is actually based on a fixed cycle, like a lot of things in this game. So every single time that a minute passes in game, a minute passes in real time, so basically an hour in game, then the weather goes on to the next cycle. So usually it will rain, for example, for between like 2 and 4 minutes, depending. But if you press F3, F1, and then double tap F1 on the 59th second of the minute, then every single time you double tap F1, it will actually skip one cycle of weather. So basically summed up, if it's raining, then you can do a weather skip on the next cycle to make sure that you can skip that rain. It even works if it's not currently raining. You can, if you know it's about to rain because the weather's on a fixed cycle and you can predict it, then you can actually skip over the rain entirely, which is very nice.
This is 1011.
So right here, ComputerRage is on the way to make a replay of, I forget which one it is, but it's either like a sniper or a rockets rampage, but there's actually 2 rampages in very close proximity. So there's one on the roof there, where he started the replay, and then he mega jumps across and finishes the replay just behind the little, whatever it is, like the barricade that comes up and down. And yeah, there's actually 2 rampages there, and he's going to make use of both of them, just in one replay. So when you make a replay, you can decide where it ends and where it begins. So you can actually make like really long replays like that, as long as they're not too long. It depends on a number of factors, like for example, the weather and how much stuff is loaded in can affect replay length. But for the most part, long replays like that are mostly fine. Just gonna keep the fire truck here for later at the shoreside safe house and do a giga mega jump and sadly get caught on a car as it went past. That's pretty unlucky. It's a hard mega jump to do, so it's really annoying to get it and then die because of a random car. And as we were talking before about the cop cars in GTA 3, so the Staunton one, the police station, is always unlocked. The ones in Portland are 60% and 70% locked, respectively. And then the one in Shoreside is 50% locked. So I don't know why. I don't know why it's so inconsistent across the different police stations, but that's GTA 3 for you. This mission is basically just a glorified rampage. This mission is part of one of the most infamous GTA 3 or GTA glitches of all time, where it's called the Purple Lines glitch. And basically what would happen is on the console releases of this game, when you boot into the game, it actually just puts you straight into the save that you were playing on. So I forget exactly how it works, but basically this mission you have to kill X amount of purple knives, which are the gang members in the purple jackets, and once you kill them and you complete the mission, then they no longer spawn anywhere. But that effect of having no purple lines anywhere on the map actually can carry into your next save. So if you're playing this game on console and you boot into a game that has completed Uzi money, and then you start a new game, there will never be any purple lines anywhere on the map. So you'll get to this mission in that new playthrough, and you just can't complete the mission because there's no purple lines to kill. It's a very strange glitch. And it became very infamous very quickly. And this is some more of the firefighter exploding vehicles in order to do Terminator. And this dupe and fail works pretty much exactly the same. But the only difference is that you can't just dupe and fail it straight away. You actually have to trigger getting into the van, so then it actually spawns in the targets that you have to kill. So you get in the van to spawn the targets, and then you just blow yourself up over and over again until you run out of cars. And then that fails the first instance, passes the second one. Is this live? Yes.
They don't care about my welfare.
Oh my god, can I get a hello from Mr. Streamer? Hello. Hello, Zazaza691. Welcome to the stream.
This bag is killing me.
Get out of the road!
Where's my damn food? What's up? What's up? Hey, tell you, I'm gonna get you.
This here is another destroy vehicles rampage, so you can easily abuse it with Firefighter. Then he drops down onto the roof and makes another replay just before starting Rig to Blow. Rig to Blow is a really interesting mission, especially when it comes to the ways you can sort of cheese it. So the way the mission works is you have a car that's rigged with a bomb, and obviously you have to be very careful when driving it because you don't want to explode and kill yourself. Also insta-passing Rumper Rampage, but that's not nearly as interesting. Rig to Blow is way more important. So yeah, you don't want to blow yourself up. And then once you start the mission, it spawns the car in a specific parking spot. And then you drive the car all the way to Portland in order to get the bomb defused, and then you have to drive it back and put it in the same spot that it was originally in. So in speedruns, what you do is you take the rigged car, you drive it to Portland as normal, and then you what's the word I'm looking for? You defuse the bomb, or get the bomb defused. But then you don't actually bring the car back with you, because what you can do is you can drive back any way that you want, and then you can actually restart the mission. And when you restart the mission, it spawns another car, or another copy of the same car, in the original spot, and that will actually count as mission completion, because the game isn't smart enough to check which car is which. All that it looks for is a specific car in the right place, and as soon as that criteria is hit, then the mission passes. So yeah, got to be very careful when driving through the tunnels here, because as you can see, these drivers love to just lane switch last second right in front of you. And as I said before, if you crash one too many times here, you'll just blow up and die, which can make this mission really annoying. This is a legitimately difficult mission. If this wasn't on Watch Mojo's list, it definitely should be in place of Payday for Ray. This mission is much more difficult in my opinion. But it just overwrites the old car with a new one, even better. And it also works out very conveniently, because for Gang Car Roundup, which is the mission we've been collecting the cars for, we need one more car from Portland. And I believe it's the Mafia Sentinel. So we can ditch this Infernus and go and grab a Mafia Sentinel. Drive it all the way back. That taxi got creamed, Jesus. Yeah, I didn't think you'd be able to just put any random Infernus there. Obviously it has to be tied to the mission specifically, but like, the game isn't that dumb. As you can see here, you start rig to blow again, and you just instantly pass the mission, because the Infernus is back in its original spot. And then straight onto Bullion Run. Is this partial skip even worth it? No. They just decide to do it in world record speedruns, Lashenka, for the sake of it. So in this mission, you'll when you grab the cargo, it actually slows down and like adds weight to your car. And you're intended to do this in like several trips. But if you're stubborn enough, you can actually collect them all at once. You just have to make sure that you count it. So your numeracy skills have to be pretty top tier here. And when you're dropping off the cargo, you don't need to actually like fully drop it off. You can just drive in and magically it just offloads it all and your car's fine again, just like that. this here is dodo bait. The idea of this mission is that you have to get the attention of 3 different cars and lure them into a Yakuza trap. You can't kill them yourself, they have to be killed by the Yakuza, and they can only spot you once you've actually got them into the compound. If you get out of the car, or your vehicle, or plane, in this case, before they get into the trap, you will have a lot of trouble. And the idea of this is that you do it all with the dodo, because there's actually, you can trigger them from way higher than usual. This is not going too great. But yeah, the idea is that you trigger them all in one big flight, and then you land safely, hopefully, in the Yakuza compound, and then you can keep the dodo for some more missions. It is an extremely cool trick, so even the best can fail it, especially in a marathon setting. But this is a good recovery. This is another mission that can just fail due to no fault of your own, due to the way the AI behaves. Because as you can see, you've got to hope that the AI basically do their job and kill the right people. Because you cannot attack anyone yourself. are we back?
There's no need to feel down.
Right, we are back. Apologies about that. ComputerRage loves to keep us on the edge of our seats. I respect that. Casually went to the shop, yeah. Just got up and had dinner mid-run. I respect it.
I'm gonna get you.
All units be on lookout for secure time, Pine Peak area. Suspected armed and dangerous.
Well, I heard the IL for this mission was just beaten. Is that so? What do you do in the individual level decoy speedrun? Waffle. Tell us all about it. Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of this mission's design. Like, it's silly, but it's pretty good. Like, you literally just take a van, and your objective is just survive. Like, be literally just be bait for the police. Yeah. I think it's a pretty good mission. It's so simple, but it's so effective. Here he's just making a giga replay over a rampage icon again. Back to good old times. I killed the timer and started the mission again. It reset the timer back to 3 minutes, but it kept on running right away. So I watched the cutscene and saved time at the same time. Wait, so you saved time on an auto-scroller? Is that what you're telling me? Real shit. if there's ever a mission in this game that just absolutely oozes with artificial difficulty, it's this one. This mission itself is extremely trivial, but it's made extremely difficult with the fact that they don't tell you where any of the stalls are. Or they might tell you about one, I think. But unless you discover them yourself, there's no way to know where they are. It's just a ton of trial and error to just drive around and make notes of the locations. But as soon as you know where they are, the mission is extremely trivial. It's just long, because you have to drive around the whole map. There's 5 stalls on Staunton Island. There's 2 in Portland and 2 in Shoreside Vale. So there isn't really a mega efficient way of getting all of them. Fun fact about this mission is there is actually a tool-assisted speedrun of GTA 3 that actually uses the Dodo to fly over and crash into the stalls with direct impact. A human has never been able to replicate this, but it would in theory be extremely fast. So if you think you're up to the challenge, then you are welcome to give it a try. I'm not sure what the record is in terms of humans actually being able to do it, like the most that anyone's ever done. But I believe nobody's ever gotten more than, you know, like a handful of stalls without failing, because, yeah. diving down with such speed and hitting it and not completely destroying your dodo is extremely difficult. Here's where ComputerRage finally grabs the Mafia Sentinel for Gencar Roundup later on. This is what it's all been building towards. Ending in all of these cars. This is usually an extremely long mission. You have to go all around the map stealing cars, but this route is done in a very efficient manner, so you collect them as you go, basically. And the mission is pretty much 0 time.
I don't need to say any ID. You look trustworthy.
Getting the car repaired is not ideal, but still a lot faster than going all the way to Portland. My favourite mission in the game. We were talking about favourite missions earlier. I'm a big fan of this mission. It's extremely goofy. It's got a fun little mechanic. So you have to destroy to kill a guy, knocking him out of an ambulance, and then running over him in his full body cast in order to kill him. Fun fact, if you blow up the ambulance, which would be the logical thing to do, because you know, he'll blow up inside it and be dead, instead of the mission passing, instead the game spawns a new ambulance and said that other one must have been a fake, must have been a decoy. And that actually goes infinitely. So if you destroy 100 ambulances, there are 100 decoys. Which gets very silly very quickly. fun fact about this mission, this was one of the big changes when GTA 3 was looking to come out. You can see these guys are called Spanked Up Madmen. Originally these guys were called something a lot more offensive, but they were censored as a result of when this game came out due to the attacks of the World Trade Center back in 2001. I believe these guys were literally called suicide bombers as the original plans, but I'm not sure if that's just a rumor. But they definitely were reworked a little bit to be slightly less, slightly more tasteful, given the way the world was at the time. I think they still are in the PAL version. Really? That's interesting.
Do we technically someone?
Euro Chad's winning again, I guess. So ComputerRage is trying to get a car to spawn here, sadly unsuccessfully. But obviously you're just waiting for the plane to come along so you can shoot it down, so you're basically on downtime. And in that time you can grab a car, and if you use a car it's actually a lot easier to drive it with your wheels rather than like trying to step on them, so it saves a bit of time. And this shot is trickier than it looks. If you shoot the plane too early, the packages will go on the other side of that little overhang there near the water. And once you go over, you can't actually get back by jumping back over the little wall. You have to go all the way around or clip inside the floor, which obviously, you know, it's not something you can just kind of wing. You have to know what you're doing. And if you shoot too late, then the packages go down into the dam area at the end of the game, which is really bad because you have to go all the way around to go and get them, which is really slow. So yeah, that shot has to be pretty much perfect. It's not a very forgiving thing to do. clipping is very winnable. I don't mean like that. I mean as in like, if you're a casual player, you would never just think to clip in through the floor, is what I mean. I don't mean like you need a specific lineup for it. Now getting some really good use out of the dodo for Marked Man, which is the final Ray mission, where you have to get into the airport, which sounds simple enough, but the bridges are completely blocked off by the CIA, and if you try and go across them, they will just insta-kill you, basically. So you're intended to take the underground tunnels, drive through, but instead, if you're an absolute boy, you can take the dodo and fly across, and it's much faster. You can crash land into this marker at the airport, and if you get like not a great landing, then you can have trouble with when Ray gets stuck. So basically Ray is trying to like enter the, go to follow his path at the airport to run up the stairs, but he gets blocked by the dodo. And this mission doesn't have any sort of failsafe to protect you if Ray gets stuck. So if he gets stuck, like under the dodo or behind the dodo, if he never gets himself unstuck, then you're just soft locked, because the mission doesn't have any sort of failsafe. So hopefully he doesn't get stuck. Yeah, he's fine. Nice and easy. Had a bit of trouble taking him off, but it was otherwise fine. Then you just need to go and collect Rage Stash. Give you a bunch of guns, some money, and a bulletproof Patriot, which is extremely useful to casual players. And the same process here. There's actually no like vertical check to trigger the garage where Ray Stash is, so you can just fly right over it. And trigger the end of the mission without needing to actually go into the garage or anything. Now it's time for the final mission, the story, but not the final mission of the run. An important thing to remember is that the final missions in these games only count once the mission actually finishes, and the mission only finishes after the credits. So a very common misconception is, why don't you do this mission last? Because you can skip watching the credits. Well, you can't, because you have to watch the credits regardless for the mission to be considered complete. So it doesn't actually matter when you complete this final mission, as long as you complete it at some point. So it actually makes far more sense to just do it in the most convenient position, not the last position.
Residents in Cedar Grove have been coming to terms with the emotional aftermath of a full-blown war that hit the area yesterday. Local resident Clive Denver described to police a single gunman that he saw fleeing the scene with a dark-haired woman.
Oh, we're gonna have such fun, cause I love you. I really do, cause you're such a
the final
big,
cutscene in the
man.
credits.
That's just what
The
I mean.
credits can be skipped
Anyway, what was
halfway
I saying?
through.
I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover. Several citizens were injured in the panic as gunfire was exchanged between ground forces and a helicopter circling the dam.
Yeah, we got a good view from down here in the gardens. When the copter finally got taken out, better than the fireworks on the 4th of July.
With the death toll already over 20, police are still finding bodies.
Is it just Rumble?
There have been no official denials concerning rumors that the dead were members of the Colombian cartel, and still no leads as to the cause of the massacre.
I can't think of any.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
No, maybe it is just Rumble. So yeah, this mission is extremely simple to finish things off. You just go and pick up a friend, go and fight some dudes with a baseball bat. If you try and shoot any guns or anything, you'll fail, because it's not, respectful. You don't even have to pick this guy up, you can just go and 1v5 yourself. And that should be everything. Just important here to not get stun locked, because if you walk into too many of the guys with bats, you'll get stun locked, which is not good. I believe that's GG. We can see on the counter, missions passed 74 out of 73. The joys of duping. Great job, ComputerRage. Great run.
Actually off for the run.
Well, great in terms of entertainment value. Do you have any final words before we wrap it up for the night?
Have a good day. Or a good night. Thanks for watching.
Alright, we'll hop back to intermission. If anyone has missed any of the runs that went on today, not to fret. We'll be doing reruns throughout the night. Thank you to everyone who has supported, and we'll be back at 6 p.m. UTC tomorrow. Exclamation mark schedule if you want to see what's on. We've got some good stuff ahead. We've got GTA 2 tomorrow. We've got GTA Vice City Titan Vice. We've got T-Lad with Mashin. And then we've got VC No SSU later on with Millie as well. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.